welcome to You Are Human, a podcast attempting to decode human potential and possibilities by bringing you real stories, real heroes. Today with me is a senior executive, a mentor, a coach, and also a COVID survivor. Hello, Hussain. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jagruti, and you?
Very well, thank you.
Fantastic.
It is such a pleasure to have you. It's been quite a few months we've been discussing this, isn't it?
Absolutely. No, but I'm honored. I think it's going to be an interesting interview or podcast.
Yes, absolutely. I know at 2020, we were all hoping that 2021 will be a different year. We're going to, fight the pandemic, get over with. But here we are in the first quarter of 2021 and we're still dealing with it. So my first question to you is related to your journey battling COVID. And I actually would like to appreciate and say that you're not just a COVID survivor, but you're a COVID warrior. Now, the reason why I say it is because you're not a doctor or, policeman or in the frontline worker, but you're still a warrior to me and anybody who is or who has battled any form of disease, which is life-threatening. Because whenever we go through a physical journey, which is challenging, it is our mind that pulls us down. And it is our mind that pushes us and helps us recover.
Correct.
Your mind, of course, was strong during the tough phase because you were in the hospital. You were hospitalized for a certain number of days. It was not just your mind telling you, Hussain, you have to get well, but you had an extraordinary question asking yourself that, what is my why? Yes, I want to get better, but why do I want to get better? And what is it that I'm going to do once I'm out back into the world? So my question to you is, firstly, how did that thought process happen? Because normally if you're in the hospital, you're just going to pray and be like, okay, I need to get well. But here you were thinking differently. That is number one. And number two, what is that why?
Wow. What a question. So I never stopped praying, by the way, because I believe that divinity, Allah, God, definitely has to do a lot with whatever that was there in what pulled me out of that, right?
Sure.
And the prayers from the individuals that I know in life. So there was a lot of people that were talking to us and people that I knew from 20s of years or many years. And they would come and say, they would ask my family about me. So prayers never stops. I think the why is basically a purpose, right?
Yes.
So come on. I mean, it happened probably for a purpose or for a reason. And the result of it was, do I really look at it from a blame frame or do I look at it from an outcome, performance going forward frame? And there was always a thought there in my mind that, Hussain, there is one individual there in the world that is waiting for you to come out COVID and touch them and say, by the way, it's easy. This is how you need to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and come out of it, right? So that one person I'm still waiting for. I hope COVID goes away. But fact of the matter is that one person was pulling me. Besides my family, my kids, my programs, my giving back. I mean, there was a lot of purpose there under that umbrella of the purpose. So how did it happen? How did this why question come in? I think, again, that was part of the prayers that, hey, you need to come out. And even the doctor, I really appreciate the medical staff. The doctor and the nurses, they were like phenomenal because I wouldn't have come out without their help and patience and smiles and all that, right? When I came into the hospital, the doctor says, 3 days and you're going to be a guest with us and you're going to come out. Well, 3 days became 18 days. But I guess every day there was this fantastic why and purpose that was getting created. And I think that's the positivity of that gave me the chance to come out.
And I think in life, for us, our cause, our purpose, and anything that drives us comes from a why.
Yes.
When we have a why, then comes the what and the how.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we say that when you have a clear why, your how is going to be simple.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My father always tells me, he's like, you need to find out, because I'm somebody I would want to try everything. So my father would always say, find your why. Why do you want to do this?
Yes.
Once you have that answer, nobody's going to stop you from achieving anything. But unless and until you don't know your why, the right why, actually.
Yes, exactly. That needs to be asked, by the way. Even when you sit down for a meeting or when you do anything, you just need to ask, what is the objective of doing this, right? Because then you will be looking at an outcome rather than going into a, hey, why and what is happening and what should we do and all that. No. Start with a clear why. Make it a bit more structured than it is before the meeting or before doing the task. True. And I think it's going to come in.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It is also said that our human capabilities are tested and proven the most when we are pushed into difficult circumstances. So I think dealing with a physical challenge, because health is wealth, that is the extreme. To me, I feel if we are physically all right, we can deal with anything else, Now, you were dealing with this tough phase. What did you discover about yourself during those 18 days? And what did you discover about those around you in that tough phase?
I think what I discovered is that a human being is arrogant for nothing, right? You're worthless, but you're definitely worthy. When you walk, or actually you cannot walk, and then you say nurse, and then you press that button and 2 nurses come. Thank you to those 2 nurses. I don't know their names. And one of them handles your oxygen tank and one of them handles your chair, and you say, I want to go to the bathroom. God, I mean, where were you before COVID, right? Why were you arrogant in some of these circumstances to people around you and the overall environment? That's why I think we need to always, when we come across, and this is what I discovered, right? When you come across something painful and you think it's painful, I think you need to just flip the page and say, this is part of my learning. Let me go forward, right? Let me grow beyond that. Somebody annoyed you, somebody said a bad thing about you in front of you, whatever, right? Khalas, that's it. Get it over with and move on. So that's the humility part that you really discover. And then the other thing is the kindness and the happiness and the positivity. And well, I think a lot of people who know me would say you're always positive, right? And you're sometimes over positive. Yeah, so why should I be negative?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Come on, let me look at the forward looking, and when I fall, I mean, that's what Denzel Washington really taught me, right? Not directly, I wish. I would thank him for that. But he always says, fall forward, never fall backward, right?
Yes.
That is a fantastic, if you start imagining it, that would give you a lot of motivation, a lot of commitment to go forward and then discover yourself in a bit more structured way. I think these were, so the worthiness of a human being was something that I really discovered when I was there in the 18 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I think if it was not for the pandemic, we wouldn't have realized this. I think a lot of people today have realized the importance and worthiness, as you say, of having the other with us. Because this pandemic has kept so many people away from each other. People cannot travel back home, away from their families. And we tend to respect and appreciate, those relationships.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. I mean, that's something that reminds me. I mean, you were saying these sentences, and it reminds me of how many people in those 18 days came and they were in the same sort of like a room with multiples of beds, and then they left. And every morning I would see them in the morning and then don't see them in the evening, or see them in the evening and don't see them in the morning. And I would say, God, when is my turn gonna? Yeah. But you feel so good for them, right? That Alhamdulillah, thank you very much. I mean, they're out. Now. It's my time is gonna come, right?
I'll be there too.
Exactly.
In this pandemic, while a lot of people, were struggling with their jobs, a lot of them lost it, and so many of them were still holding on to the jobs probably they didn't like, just so that they can survive, because there's so much uncertainty around it. You went against the tide, quit your job, and said, I am going to focus in the agency that I have. Now, was this a thoughtful, calculated decision, or was it something you said, I'm going to go with the flow, this is what I'm going to do?
It was under very extraordinary circumstances, right? But I thank whoever kind of helped me in making that decision to happen. If he is listening, he would understand. But the fact is that when I left it, I was 24 years in a fixed income sort of a circumstance, and all of a sudden you say, I'm gonna handle my business. So should I really wait for the opportunity to come and then search for a job and whatever, or let me create something around me and create that ecosystem? These 24 years, I never burned bridges, whether it is personal or business. I made sure that I actually put a very good name in the market. I was in very senior positions. How can I utilize that in the times of adversity and create an opportunity from it, right? And it was not only the agency, Creative Soul, that I really put my efforts in, because there's a lot of people who are taking care of it. All what I came and said, how about if we do this? How about if we do that? Then you won't believe it. I mean, it was March or April when we sat down, and that was last year, right? When we sat down and said, hey, I'm coming out of the job. What do we do? There was, in a matter of 3 months, 90 days, and I always go with the 90 to 100 days, there was 12 opportunities on the table, and myself and the partners would say, which one should we choose? Right? And that only came because you kept understanding and pushing for an opportunity, discovering an opportunity, finding the right people to work with an opportunity. And I'm not going to say I'm a leader, but a leader always looks at what is next.
Yes.
I was talking to a young guy today. I said, you're the owner of your shop, right? And you have people who are working for you. You're the leader. You always need to look at tomorrow. Let the guys understand what they need to do today. So you're not confused between operations and strategy,
right,
vision and whatever tactical that is happening. So a lot of people, I think, discovered themselves in 2020,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And I thank God for that. And I think we all need to thank God for that, because if you have attempted to discover yourself, I think 2020 was the easiest year where you can really discover yourself fast. Before that, everything was going hunky-dory.
Yeah.
Everything was happening. Income was coming, But people thought, I'm in a job, khalas, I'm secured. No, you're not.
Yeah.
I think it's never a job that's going to keep you secured, right? Even if you look at the successful people around the world, they're saying, fine, you want to do a job and get a fixed income, fine. But you need to also hustle and have a few things around you so they can help you out in adversity times. And by the way, 2020, we had challenges. 2021, we're still having challenges.
Yes.
Do you think this is going to go away? No.
Yeah.
You're still going to be Zooming to have meetings, right?
True.
So things have changed in standards.
Yes, absolutely. So would you say that you're somebody who does not wait for opportunities, but you're somebody who will, if you see it, you're going to grab it, or you're going to create one for you?
So for people who know what Belbin is basically a test that teaches you how to discover your personality. And that's one of the tests, of course. But I kind of relate to that, because Belbin discovered me twice or three times when that test told me that I'm a resource investigator, right? So I'm a connector. And I like that. So I like going out and connecting this opportunity with this opportunity and this person with that person, and enjoy the results of it, right? Yes, I am a person who would not wait. Of course, I'm a human being, right? So at some of these moments, you come out of it and say, my God, I need to really look for a job. But then in a matter of few hours, you say, why a job? No, I mean, why should I create that 80 million riyals worth of revenues for an organization?
Right.
Of course, for a job. But how about if I create 8 million riyals for myself, right?
Yes.
And again, part of success. So how do you define success? Is it by the Riyal Omani or the dollars? Or do you really define it as a satisfaction to go forward? You've done it. Fantastic. Tick the box. what is next.
True.
Again, the outcome frame, as we talk about it from an NLP point of view.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So what was it again? The word resource?
Resource investigator.
Resource investigator. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've never done this before in any of my interviews. Before I ask you some other questions, I just want to do a this or that. So I'm going to give you two options and you have to pick one.
Okay.
So if today you were given two opportunities, one says you lead an SME, or the other says there's already a big giant corporation with a leader, you work under the leader. Which one would you go for?
Tough question. At this point of the time, I think I'll be actually passionate about going with an SME. But from an opportunity point of view, I would like to be in a position to choose the opportunity. So you give me an option.
Yes.
I mean, I should not be pushed to say, here's the job, just take it, right? Or here's an SME, just take it. And even if I take an SME, by the way, that SME should be assured that they will not be in a matter of 3 months to 8 months or 9 months in the same, well, they would do the same, they will be in the same industry, but I would always look at other doors for them.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to do. And that's what I did with the SME that I'm leading, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 2 to 3 other arms that we created. And I think it's going to be, inshallah, opening some good doors.
Inshallah. So you would go for leading an SME. Okay, so this and that, so just pick your answer.
Yes.
All right. Next one. So if you were given the challenge of a role, the responsibility, the profile, or is it the package and the status that it brings in? What attracts you?
Now, at this age and at this career path, I think I've done it all, right? I was an MD and I was a chief and I was this and that, right? What matters to me, I guess it's what I can give back.
Right.
If this option is going to allow me to give back more to the new generations.
True.
Because I've learned a lot from these 48 years, right, in my life. I want to now give back because they deserve to learn how to grow faster than we did, right?
Wow, great.
Yeah.
Whose journey do you follow more, Elon Musk or Jack Ma?
Jack Ma.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's more natural.
Yeah. I actually thought you would go for the other one.
Oh, really?
But,
yeah.
I don't know why. I was like, I think he's going to go for
Yeah, no, Jack Ma, I cannot relate with him because he got a lot of no's. And I have tried a lot of no's. In fact, I was even kicked out of houses when I was selling things. So I can relate to him.
You can relate to him. Okay. If there was a time machine given to you and it had an option either to go 10 years backwards or 10 years forward, which option would you go for?
10 years forward.
10 years forward?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm connecting myself to technology. I'm connecting myself to tomorrow. If I want to give back to the new generations, I need to speak their language.
Right.
And I'm actually undergoing a course now, very intensive course, right? Just to make sure that I'm talking that language where I can give back and give or talk the same language and the same words and phrases and representation. I don't want to be the old Hussain, right?
Right.
There's always a look forward, sort of a phenomena that I look at, and I always look for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Tough questions. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's interesting.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Last one. What was the last one? I forgot. No, I remember.
Okay, good.
I was so lost in your answer. Last one. Who teaches better in life, a win or a loss?
No, I don't think you can pick. See, you can learn from a win and you can learn from a loss, honestly.
True.
If you want me to answer you, I think it's the loss for me because I've not been that smart. I think I've been a hard worker.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot the hard way. But from the win, don't become arrogant.
Right.
Always keep yourself as an empty cup. Learn more.
Right.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah. Next question is along with the winning segment.
Yeah.
Since childhood, we're always taught or we always are told, you have to win. In the race, did you come first? In your class, are you getting good marks? So this is fed into us. You have to win. But what kind of win is actually essential in life? And how do we get to that win according to you?
I think by having a few losses, you understand, you really understand the value of a win, right?
True.
You cannot just be, I mean, even in business, the curve is not going to be always up.
True.
When you introduce a new product, you need to inject in the life cycle of the product something at the middle, whether it's an offer or an extension or a price fighter. I mean, I don't want to go into the economy language, right? But that's how it is. You are a product in life, right? How do you make sure that you're growing in the next level and the next level? So I will go back to the original answer and say, you cannot understand a win and enjoy it and capitalize on it and optimize it until you have gone through the losses.
Right.
Therefore, being an empty cup to learn more and grow in life would give you a lot of wins, right? So again, everybody says, oh, I want to have a great lifestyle. I want to be successful. I want to be happy. Everybody has a different definition of a win and a loss, right? Do you really consider it as a lose or a loss? No, I think you should consider it as a milestone. You're stepping on it and going forward. A lot of people cannot let go.
Right.
That's the problem, right? But again, going to the blame frame and going to the outcome frame. Look at the outcome. Khalas, this has happened. Flip the page. Go forward. Not easy. But you have to train yourself. Sure. You have to have a machine of motivation from inside you.
Yeah. And what if you don't have a machine of motivation? What do those people do? Because I know these days everybody's like, you have to be self-motivated. There are so many times when we cannot have that motivation from within.
Then surround yourself with more motivators, right? Yeah. Surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with people who are not going to always be whining, right?
Right.
They're always looking at the next. These are positive people. These are positively structured people, and they would always want you to win, right? Because I mean, there's a lot of people around us that we need to really toss them somewhere. Let go of. Exactly, right? Be good to them, but they're not. There's no chemistry, right?
True.
I think surrounding yourself with the positivity and again having a clear why is going to get you there. Yeah.
You spoke a few times about emptying the cup. How does one empty the cup? Because these days we are so overly burdened. Again, social media plays a very, very big role in influencing or, taking the space of our minds. How do we empty our cup of all that goes on in our heads?
Good question and tough question. That's why I'm thinking about it. You never told me about it. I'm just joking. How do you empty your cup? I think you always need to know that there is more knowledge and more success behind that wall for you, right? Go and discover it. That's one way. The other thing is that you empty your cup by building humility and humbleness inside you, right? Even if you have grown in the ladder, whether it is the corporate ladder, whether it is the millions of dollars ladder, whether some people are into Bitcoin now.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking Bitcoin. So if you won millions there, you always need to understand that, hey, this has gone up, but then someday the curve is going to go down. Are you prepared for it? Right. And that's where humbleness kicks in and humility kicks in and learning crave kicks in. That there is more knowledge and more success and the next in life is there. I think, I guess I got the right word. Next. So you'll be always an empty cup if you look at next.
Yeah.
If you're not an empty cup, you would never look at next. You would say, Khalas, I've reached it. I've reached it and I don't need anything else, right? No. Again, 2020 taught us that, by the way, there are nexts and it could be up and down. Are you ready for it? I think some people were not ready for it. They thought everything's going to be okay.
But do you think if always looking for next makes us dissatisfied or not? Or it's just a way of looking at it?
Yeah, I think it's how you define it, right? Isn't it?
True.
Yeah, it's how you define it. I mean, if your next is going to add value, if it's really giving more sort of a flavor to your why, if it's making your how easier, it's you.
Yes.
What is it that you want?
If it's not required, then no need. I mean, if you're happy in that current state, then it's not necessary to go for the
Absolutely.
next.
I think then if you're happy in your current state, then maybe, read a book.
Yeah.
And you would understand that by the way, I didn't have that knowledge.
Yes.
And again, that's going to
Yes.
take you to next, right?
True, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, during this pandemic, I started with You Are Human, my podcast, because I felt that there are so many stories around us, you know, and a lot of us need, and I personally also needed that kind of motivation and, you know, to be pulled up so many times. So I started with this podcast to bring out inspiring stories from around us in Oman. You also started something called as Hell Talks, and you do it so fabulously. I love your, you know, short clips. Earlier it was only in Arabic and I would still watch them. I was like, what is he saying? And now you do them in English. So thank you so much for actually venturing into English language, because I absolutely love it. And keep going. You know, you're wonderful at it. And I know that you speak a lot about how to be a leader, and you're trying to guide a lot of SMEs. And I know you pass a lot of wisdom, you know, through those short clips of yours, those videos of yours. But through this platform, through my podcast, if there is something that you would like to say to maybe somebody who's wanting to start a business, if someone is in an organization or with an SME, just as somebody, as a business perspective, if there's something you would like to share, what would it be?
I think from a business perspective, there's a lot. And I always talk about leadership. I always talk about a little bit of emotional intelligence and a lot of motivation. I think now in 2020, 2021, we all need to put our hands together, right? We need to support each other. No one person is going to succeed alone. If you are an SME and you believe in your business or your product, understand that there is completion for this transaction or equation, right? There's people who are going to be helping you on your marketing, business development, administration, finance, right? A lot of SMEs lose it because they think they know everything, but actually they know their product. And they don't want to seek advice. Seek advice. Same thing with people who are losing their jobs. They don't have the jobs. Their employers came to them and said, you know, we have to cut 30% of your salary. Don't be emotional about it, because everybody has to, as we said, we need to put our hands together, support your organization and support yourself. But some people would say, well, I have commitments. Fantastic. Then that teaches you that a job is not going to be stable for you all the time. Well, at one point of a time, you're going to come and say, or somebody's going to tell you, you need to retire. That's what kind of happened in a lot of, you know, parts of the world. So what are you going to have? Always keep whether it's a second income, keep obviously, keep a platform for you to grow, to have something on the side. It's very important. And that is from an income point of view. Also, skilling yourself, upskilling. If you have any skills, upskill it. If you don't have it, build it. That's very important in life at this point of a time. I think there's a lot of people that are going into education and restarting educating themselves. Why? Because 2020 taught us a lot. And that's the positivity, ladies and gentlemen, guys and girls. I mean, brothers and sisters, come on, open up, smell the coffee, right? Open up your eyes. You have to be next. You cannot be the 2019 and 2018 Hussains and Jagrutis. No, it has to be something different. So what is that something different that you want to get to? And what is that dream that you want to get to? And build yourself. I think these are some of the things that I would love to see new people. And I get so passionate about youngsters coming to me and saying, through Hal Talk, we heard you saying this. How about if you can help me in doing that? Fantastic. You know, they're thinking next. That's what I told one of the guys the other day. So that was great.
So I think thinking next, that's what it is.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If it has inspired you, even slightly, then please like, share, and comment. See you on the next one. Until then, remember, our time is limited. Let's make the most of it.